that are in your family. See, because my family, yes, they did. They like to drink, but I come from a family on both sides. They also like to tithe. They gave to the church. They were always successful in that. They were not people that were unemployed. I come from a family that worked and worked hard. I came from a family that were either they went to a trade school or they went to a liberal arts college. They educated people. And so I can sit down and I can tell my children, this is where we come from. This is what we are. Even those who have been engrafted and those who've been adopted into the family, those who've been brought into the family, I'm able to teach them some things that here's what mama said, here's what grandmama said, here's what they said. Don't forget your people. Because you know, most of you who are in this room today, most of you have some connection with the church somewhere. Why? Because your mama, your daddy, somebody, grandmama, somebody taught you something. They gave you a little bit so that you would know that this is what I need in times of struggle, in times of trouble. And so don't forget your people. And he remembered, where's my daddy? Not only did he remember his daddy, this is his ancestor, he also realized that, okay, I'm going to get back with y'all in a minute, but I also want to make sure that I have some connection with the person who loved me. He didn't forget his daddy because he realized that his daddy was the one who really loved him. So he wanted to know first, what about my daddy? Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if some of us would start to look back and think about the people who really love us? Oh, you missed what I just said. What I mean is a lot of times we spend, Sister Wesley, so much time on the people who don't love us, some nappy head that stays mad at them all the time that we're trying to make happy, and we disregard and toss our behind in the air to the ones who love us. What about my daddy? See, I wish we could spend a little less time dealing with the boss who can't stand us, gives us the pink slip all the time, and we forget to show up at our kids' baseball and basketball game. What about the one that loves you? What about the one that adores you? And so we said, where's my dad? How to restore the family, start putting some attention on the people who put attention on you. The people who invest in your life, the people who care about you, the people who would die for you. Got to remember the ancestors. But then look at verse 3 here. It says, and so you want to know that his father lived, and then his brothers could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. You can't be afraid to be speechless. Don't be afraid to be speechless. Sometimes words don't get it. Sister Valerie Saunders, there are some things that words just can't do. There are some moments in life where you just have to wait and be silent. There's some times in life and some situations in life where words cannot express what needs to be expressed. Yeah. Sometimes we think the radio always needs to be on. But there's a powerful moment when silence begins to come into the room. Let me tell you something. When you find out that it's the end of the road, you don't want everybody around. When you find out the end of the road, people tell you in a minute now, that's when you send all of the pot smokers out the room. You want to know, can they send over the Reverend what can pray for you? You want some intimate time, and you want to get some things done that you can't do in the crowd. And so, you know, they were speechless. There was nothing they could say, and sometimes there's nothing you could say. You just got to wait for God to bring on the next moment, because there are no words to express it. There's no thing that you could say. There's no Hallmark card for this. That's right. It's just one of those moments where you just got to be speechless. Far too often we think that there's always got to be words going on. There's always got to be music. There's always got to be some sound, some background. Some of us can't even sleep at night without the TV running. But sometimes in your life you need some silence. Speaking here, okay, here's Pastor's practical point. You ready? Here's the practical point. I need you to write this down. I need you to remember this. This is the practical point. This is the point that I want you to make, and one of the things that I want you to take away, and I really truly want you to have a brand new practice that I want you to take away right now. This is a speechless practice, but this is a practice that I want you to think about, and it is something that is very pragmatic. I want you to begin to, because I know that every member of Liberty Hill takes time to read their Bible every day. I know you take time to pray every day. I know you take time with God. Now I'm going to ask you to start off with just a minute of silence every single day. Start off with a minute of silence every single day. And that means if you have to look at your watch and take that minute of silence, take a minute of silence every single day. And I'd like for you to increase it. It would be wonderful if some of the members of this church could get up to 10, 15 minutes where we're just in silence and allowing God to speak to us. There's too much noise around us. There's too much going on. You need to become disconnected to become connected. You got to become disconnected to become connected.
All right.
For those of you who are right now still in the church's internet, you are connected to one of our lines. In order to connect to another one of our lines, because there's about 4 streams of internet in this church, your device will not allow you to connect to 2 devices at the same time. Check it out. Your device will not allow you to take 2 streams of internet at the same time. You have to connect to one network or the other. God says, I am a jealous God. I want you to be hot or cold. The Lord wants you to be on his side or the other side. He said light and darkness will not mix. You cannot connect to 2 sources at the same time. You're either connected to God and disconnected from the mess, or you're connected to the mess and disconnected from God. And so you need to disconnect phone, telephone, radio, and all of that and connect with God. Give it a minute, and then give it 2, and give it 3, and give it 4. Have it the same time every day. Every single day. Take time to just have a minute where it's just silent. That's the first practical. That's number 1. Because before you leave, there's going to be a second one. So that's the first one. First practical. So don't be afraid to be speechless. Look at verse 4. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me. Come near to me. Come near to me. You can't be afraid. You got to be willing to come close. He says, come near to me. You got to be willing to come close. Sometimes the problem with family is that we're so separated. And you got to be willing to come close. You got to be willing to be connected. You can't stay on the other side of the room and have this conversation. We as Christians